Okay, what is up, my fans? Here we are in PB2. I'm doing something I ain't never done before. Basically, it's more like a rant, and I'm just doing this post after I have the gameplay. I got this earlier today. I I was like, I think I should rant about what I think it means to be a pro. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And I started a game, and it went off pretty good. So I was like, I think I'll start to record and see if anything good comes out of it. And it wasn't too bad. The final score isn't great, but it's not bad. Now, to start what we're here to talk about, what it means to me being a pro. Well, first off, a lot of people you talk to, they'll be like, oh, your KD's too low. A 1.5, something like that. And they're wrong. KD really should not matter. Too many people think that. But KD, after 2.5 it's pushing it. You don't really look that good. You just look like someone that plays with a bunch of noobs or farms. And rage quits when they lose an arm or something like that, or legs. And they're no fun to play with. They aren't. So you really don't look like a pro. Like, my very first game in Rail Wars, I played with a guy, then he was in the top 40, and I was doing really good. And he made a comment to me that you're a pro if you can keep your KD above 1. And my KD has always been above 1 total. Maybe not in every match or anything, but it's always been above 1. And I take pride in that, I guess. Do I really think that's 100% true? Yeah, it's about there. I'm just a 1 KD. It's not that great. And I wouldn't necessarily consider it super pro. But around a 1.2, that's at least where it should be at if you want a chance of being called pro. And, well, mine's at 1.5. I take pride in that. I can keep it around there. It was at 1.8 at some point. But that doesn't matter. It's how you play in individual games against different people. People like Huron, who have you seen on the top 100 deadliest players and stuff like that. It is 4KD or whatever it's at now. Well, he's not that good. I've played with him, and usually he just rage quits after I kill him once in a game. I don't really like that. Because, well, quite frankly, he's not that good. So, I said KD means about nothing. If you can have a 2 KD, that's great. And you play well, that's even better. I'll consider you a pro. Now, a great question is, do I consider myself a pro? Well, quite frankly, I don't anymore. If you asked me this maybe a year ago, when I was really into the game, I would probably say yes. I thought I was pretty decent back then. Maybe a little bit higher than decent. Better than a lot of people. But I've gotten a lot worse now. I'm definitely not a pro anymore. Some people, and to measure pro, they'll be like, oh, I can beat you in a 1v1. I'm better than you. And that's great in theory and all, except some people are a lot worse at 1v1s than they are in a normal match. In a 1v1, I'm decent, I guess. I'm not good. Compare a 1v1 to maybe this team deathmatch here, I'm probably like 50% worse. Or in a co-op, 75%, I don't know. I think that I'm the best in co-op. In team deathmatch, in deathmatch free-for-all, I can do alright when I have really quick reflexes that day. That's really what it depends on. And, yeah, so when you compare people by 1v1s, that's not 100% true. You have to do it by, like, when you play with them yourself. Obviously, some people have bad games, some people have good games. I remember I used to be able to go into a co-op run Rail Wars, go 24-0, and then maybe die once and leave, or something like that. Or die a couple times and leave. I'd also have a few more kills, so maybe I'd leave the game 30-5, or 40-5, or something like that. That was when I'd consider myself pro. Like, it seems as when you start out a game, it's a lot easier, but then people get to know you, and you have to be able to adapt. That's what helps you become a pro. The better you are at adapting, the better people are going to think you are, really. Like, you might have a bad round or two in co-op then, and that's alright. You don't need to do the best every time. What's good is, most of the time you don't want to stay in a lobby where, till you get 100 kills. It's not good. In deathmatch, it's okay, because really it's going to be the same thing, and if they can't defend it, then most of the time they aren't going to be able to for a while. But in co-op, people, they get different strategies every time. And you're not really going to be able to do good for those 100 kills most of the time. I mean, certainly I've gone 140 for that's pretty good, I guess. It's 2 KD. I take pride in that, you know what I mean? It's all good. But most of the time it wasn't the same people. Because me and Des were on a team. Or, no, me and Des were against each other. No, we were on a team that time. It was a different time we were against each other. And I was 102 and 40, and then he was 141. And, well, they kept rage quitting, so we got new people, so they weren't really well adapted. It's still good whether they adapt or not. There were a few people that kept coming back, so they had some. They were used to us a little bit, but it's not the same. You stay with the same people for 100 kills, odds are your KD is not going to be that great. Maybe a 1.5 if you're lucky. But that's it. Basically, to judge people, you have to play with them yourself. Not just one game, you have to play multiple games. Really, what to me kind of makes a pro is someone who can play against other people that are pro, or that they think are pro, and he can go 1.5 at least, 2.0, 3 KD sometime. Not necessarily every time, but you can go up there. Everyone's going to have bad games where they go negative, unless you farm. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people consider me pro if I were to play for a month or two, get my skill back, like 3 days, 3 hours every day for a month. I'm pretty sure I'd be great again. I could restart a new account, maybe go 3,000 and 1,000, 3 KD there, and people think me pro, but sure I might be, but really I'm not. Those stats don't say that I'm a pro. So you can't look at stats. And yeah, that's just how it works. Sure, you might not agree with any of my ideals here, but you should. Or you should. Really, it's not you should, but you should think about it. Because everyone calls pros different. No matter whether you are a pro or you're not, there's always going to be one person or two or a group of people that think you are pro or that think you aren't. It's just how it works. You can't please everybody. There's always going to be that one person that's better than you at something. Like me, there's been times where I've changed in the game. I used to be a beast at co-op, like I said, 24-0 at start game. That's pretty good, I have to admit. And then, like a month later, I would be lucky if I could go 10-0. I mean, okay, I wouldn't say lucky if I could go 10-0. 10-0 would be about average for me then. And like I'd go 10-0, 15-1, stuff like that. That's not necessarily bad, but I obviously changed. Or more or less the game changed, and I didn't quite change with it yet. So then I went to Team Deathmatch, and then I could go 30-2, and there you can basically stay longer. But you have to know what you're doing. It's quick reflexes. But whether you're pro or not, you should do what makes the game fun for you. Like here, I've been doing some flips throughout the video, and to kill people, and that's fun. I remember there was a time where I had no fun in the game, and so I would just wait till Nexer, and we would just do flips and stuff like this in the games. We'd go co-op, and I'd get on my mule account, that's what we do. If you can do stuff like that and go positive, um, I would have to say you're a pro. But I mean, just one game is different. Straight up, really, it makes you look like a tryhard, but really you're just a pro. That's what it boils down to. How do you play and how do people perceive it? Camping back in the base here, um, I don't do it too much, but see, I do it to the point where it's not bad and makes you a noob. I do it to the point where someone would be a pro if they were good at it. This is one of my better games, so I have to admit, it makes me look all right. And basically, that's what it is. Just do what works for you. There's no one set pro play style or one set way to determine a pro. It's just how you perceive it. And I like to perceive it the way people play in co-op because, quite frankly, co-op is probably the hardest game mode to play. If you can work well with teammates and get good KDs, well, that doesn't quite say everything, but it's just how you get the good KDs. If you're sitting back, no, that's not good. But if you're like rushing down here and stuff, you run back and forth down there, that's pretty darn good. So, alright guys, that's what I think makes a pro.